Hello my color-loving friends. In this video we will discuss the UK-based brand Arttitude Cosmetics. The brand did release a new palette called Abscission a couple of weeks ago, and I got the opportunity to try it out together with the Maneater Palette that launched like last year or earlier this year, I'm not entirely sure. I will show you some swatches, some looks and a tutorial of how I created this crazy look, of course. When I'm doing my reviews, I always try to use the products in a good amount of time to get a good impression of how the products works. That's why my review is a little bit later than everyone else. I feel like I'm very familiar with the formula now and I can share my thoughts about it in a good way for you. It's especially important to try out the products for a good amount of time when I have never tried the brand before. Therefore, this review took a little bit longer for me to create. Those palettes contains a lot of shades and therefore I wanted to try as many shades as possible to get a good idea of how the palette performs. I can't promise that I have used all of the shades, but I have tried all the different formulas, I would say, because the palette has a couple of different formulas and textures which I really appreciate. We have some multichromes, we have some more satin-like shimmers, we have sparkly shimmers, cream shimmers. The Maneater Palette and the Abscission Palette seems to have a pretty consistent formula and I can't see a lot of differences. Besides that, I feel like the Abscission Palette is next level considering that it seems to have a couple of custom shades. I also think that the matte formula is maybe slightly improved, even though that the Maneater matte formula is quite impressive as well. To be quite honest with you, I didn't have high hopes for this matte formula because I was thinking that it was just the normal pigmented indie brand matte formula that a lot of brands use when they are just starting out. But boy, I was actually wrong. The formula is so pigmented and very easy to use. I was especially impressed by the matte blacks because those are normally really hard to formulate, but I have been following the brand owner's journey when she has been picking out the shades because she often posts about behind the scenes and she was really careful about picking a good matte black and I have to say that she really succeeded in that aspect. At first sight I was thinking that the Abscission and the Maneater palette was really similar, but then when I saw them in person I realized that they have a similar vibe. They are both very autumn cozy vibe palettes, but of course you can use it all year around. I feel like the Abscission palette is almost like the more toned down, muted little sister or bigger sister to Maneater, and I really adore both. Color stories, it's nothing wrong that the Abscission is a little bit muted or darker, because I'm all in for darker, moody makeup too. The Abscission palette has a more flaky shade that I'm not even going to try to pronounce because it's a really complicated shade name, but I will write it down on the screen so you can read it. It's a really pretty shade, but you definitely need a glitter glue when you use this kind of shade. Other than that, the shades are really creamy and very beautiful on the lids. Something I really appreciate about the Abscission palette is that it has a corresponding matte and a corresponding shimmer, which makes it a really easy way to create the looks. Of course you don't need to pair those shades together, but I think that it's a nice guide for someone who isn't used or comfortable with picking their own color stories when they create looks. I'm sure that a lot of you are wondering if you really need both, and I would say it's of course up to you. They are still different enough to justify owning both, in my opinion. They are great companion palettes and they are great to use together since they don't have any overlapping shades. I could see that maybe the dark brown and the black, of course, and one of the more burgundy brownish mattes are quite similar, but other than that I can't see any overlapping shades, which I think is great considering that the palette contains quite a lot of shades. Overall, I'm really impressed with the eyeshadows that I have tried from Artitude Cosmetics so far, and I literally can't wait to see what they will release next year, because I feel like this brand is sitting on a really good formula, so if you haven't tried it, I feel like you are definitely missing out. And I'm saying this because it's not easy to find a brand that has both excellent mattes and excellent shimmers. It's honestly a bit of a learning curve in this indie makeup genre. I have really been trying to find something negative to say about those palettes, and I can't just make up a big story to stay relevant on this platform. I can't lie to you. Honestly, can't find anything bad to say besides that the palettes are different sizes, because yes, I know this is very nitpicky of me, but you know how us makeup collectors are. We want to store our makeup in a good way, and as you can see, the palettes aren't exactly the same size. And that's the only negative thing that I have to say. So before I leave, I will show a tutorial of this look that I'm wearing today. Of course, I couldn't stay away from the liner work. I know I'm hopeless. I'm just a lost case when it comes to not messing up my eye look with liner. I'm not normal. My lovely friends, this is the end of this video. Per usual, I'm super excited that you have been here with me and hearing me rambling about colorful dust that I love so much, that makes my heart beat and that makes my eyes tearing up when I see these beautiful super sparkly eyeshadows. And if you want to see more of this crazy person, consider to subscribe. See you soon. Bye bye. Those mattes are palettes contains quite a lot of considering that the palettes both good mattes and